All right, fabulous fifth graders, here is question number 2 on our place value mini assessment. Myra was in charge of making hair bows for her daughters and her nieces. The table below shows how many total meters of ribbon Myra used to make hair bows for each of the girls. So we've got child's name and we've got the amount of ribbon used in meters. It's important to make sure that you study this table to make sure you understand all of the information that it's giving you and what you should be using to answer the question. So then we get to the question, which statement correctly compares the amount of ribbon used? And we're just looking for a correct comparison. Notice they didn't give us a specific name of a student or child, so you don't know exactly which numbers in this table that you should be using. So when I look down here at my answer choices, I notice there are a lot of different names. So it's really important that you rewrite these decimals. If you're just trying to look up at the table, you are most likely going to make a mistake. So rewriting the decimals next to our answer choices is going to be a good strategy to make sure that we keep all these decimals in our heads correctly. We're not juggling too much information, because I don't know about you guys, I can't juggle, and if I try to juggle all of these different names and decimals, I'm probably going to drop a ball, and then therefore get it wrong. So, no jugglers, please. Alright, step 1, when we're thinking about strategies, step 1, filling in the 0 placeholders so that we have the same number of decimal places. In 5 and 78/100ths, we have 2 decimal places. In 5 and 5/10ths, we only have 1 decimal place, so I'm going to go ahead and fill in 1 0. So now that I see I have 5 and 50/100ths. In 5 and 8/100ths, I have my 2 decimal places, I'm good. 6 and 18/100ths, I have my 2 decimal places, I'm good. Now some of you might go ahead and want to fill in so that it's all 3 decimal places, but that's really not necessary. It's giving yourself extra work, and so therefore you might make a mistake. So I would honestly just keep it with the 2 decimal places on all of them, and you're only adding in one decimal placeholder for Julia. Alright, so step 2, when we're thinking about strategies, again, rewriting those decimals. Let me think. I've got Lucia, and she had 5 and 78/100ths meters. It really doesn't take me that long to just rewrite it next to it. And then I have Eleanor's, and she was 6 and 18/100ths. So I go ahead and I write that down. Okay, I'm thinking about, so that was write the decimal. Just going to write DEC, write the decimal. Alright, step 3, I like to think about labeling the large and small decimals. I like to call that the Jerome method. I learned that strategy from him, and I really like it. And so I look at these 2 decimals and I think, oh, I don't even need to look at the decimal place. I just look at the holes. 5 holes is smaller, so I go ahead and label that with a S, and then 6 holes is larger. I label that with an L. And so then I can go ahead and think about my 4th strategy, which is actually fill in the comparison symbols myself. Don't try to look back over here and go, oh, it's that way. No, don't do that. It's, again, too many balls that you're juggling in the air. And so therefore you want to go ahead and just put in the symbol and go, oh, this one is larger, and so therefore it's opened up towards the larger decimal. And then I can go back over here and I can go, oh dear, look at that. That is the wrong symbol. And so then I can cross off A. Okay? So, going on to B. Sloan is greater than Julia. So I see Sloan is 5.08 or 5 and 8/100ths. And then Julia is 5 and 50/100ths. Now I guarantee you, if you did not go in and write that 0 placeholder and you just have the 5.5, you're probably going to look at that and go, sure, 8 is bigger than 5. But when I have my 0 placeholder and I think about which one is larger and which one is smaller, oh, this one is larger, this one is smaller. And then when I go in to label put in my comparison symbol, I know it's open to that direction, and I know that that symbol is incorrect. Again, if you're not rewriting this yourself, writing in your comparison symbol, guys, you're probably dropping a ball. It's too many balls to juggle. No jugglers, please. Crossing off B. Then when I look at choice C, Julia was 5 50/100ths, and Lucia is 5 78/100ths. Going back to my large and small Jerome strategy, 78 is greater than 5. Okay, and so I go ahead and think about what symbol would I write in myself. This one's larger, it's opened up that way, and look at that, that is the same symbol that they have. So that might be a correct answer choice. Don't go ahead and choose C. You can put a little question mark next to it if you're really just dying to write something down. And then I go on to D. Sloan is 5 8/100ths, and Lucia is 5 78/100ths. And I'm thinking about my large and small. 78 is greater than 8. So that is smaller. And my symbol is less than, because this one is less than that one. Now I look back at the symbol that they pick, and you might, and seriously, it's a pretty crazy answer. It's definitely not equal, but I could see how you might, if you just are looking at this smallest place value, the hundredths place, 8 and 8, and if you see the wholes place, 5 and 5, you might easily get tricked and say, oh yeah, those are equal, but you have to look at the whole entire decimal. And 8/100ths is not equal to 78/100ths. So I know that D is not the correct answer choice, and C is my correct answer choice. Alright, so now that we've gone ahead and looked at that, I want you to now go back and see, step 1, did you label those 0 placeholders? Did you fill in so that you have the same number of decimal places behind the decimal? If you didn't, you need to make sure you do that. Step 2, did you rewrite the decimals? Just like we did. It really didn't take that long, guys. It really didn't. Rewrite those decimals, because trying to look at names and then back at the table and names back at the table, that's a lot of balls to juggle. No jugglers, please. Step 3, did you do the Jerome strategy? Label those large and small. Makes it a whole lot easier when we get to step 4 and we actually write in our own comparison symbols. If you did not do those things, please go back right now. Label all of these. Show these strategies. Show this work. Explain what did you do wrong when you solved this problem, and then you can turn it back in.